Hey, this is Coach Mason Waters, and this video is for players who want to play college basketball. It is tips on your mindset and your approach that you need to have to maximize the odds that you play college basketball. And not only do these tips apply, not only do these tips apply to your goals and dreams of playing college basketball, but these are lessons that apply to many other things in life. Anything you're trying to achieve, it's things that I have to remind myself of. It's things that adults, kids, whoever have to remind themselves of. But the tips here are specifically for players who want to play college basketball. The overall message of this video is to put first things first. In other words, put your priorities in order. The first thing we'll talk about here is to prioritize your long-term growth over where you are at today. You might be a terrible player today. You might be an average player today. You might be a great player today. But if you slack off and you don't work and you don't surround yourself with good people and you think that the future is predetermined by who you are today, you're not going to maximize your future. So if you're a great player, keep working, keep grinding, keep getting better, because there are other kids who aren't physically developed like you are. There might be kids who just picked up basketball this year. There might be other kids who are going to come across a new coach, and that coach is really going to help them. There's kids that are working all around the country that are fighting for those same spots that you are. Now, if you're a terrible player, don't be discouraged. Think about where you can be in 6 months, in 8 months, in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, if you continue to work hard. Prioritize what you do on a daily basis and how that will impact where you are in down the road of your life. Prioritize all of that over just simply where you are today. The second tip is to prioritize competing over mixtapes. I have met players who are more concerned about their mixtape, what song is going to be on their mixtape, the order of what plays and their highlights are going to be. Is it going to be dunks and then shooting and then ball handling? Is it going to be this rapper or this rapper's music? I'm not saying mixtapes are not important, and I'm not saying they're stupid, although I think some of them are if you're a bad player. But put competing over mixtapes. If you spend no time thinking about how hard you compete, or if you spend no time before a game thinking about, man, how competitive am I going to be? Or if you spend no time after a game reflecting on, did I compete or did I not compete? What moments was I a real competitor? What moments was I a terrible competitor? If you don't spend any time thinking those kind of questions and all you think about after a game is, oh, what plays are going on my mixtape? Or before a game, oh, I'm going to try to do a Jelly Fam layup to get in my mixtape. If you're prioritizing that stuff over competing, you need to fix your mindset. And the good news is you can. The good news is you're young. And the good news is you're hearing this video so that you can change that. Prioritize competing over mixtapes or anything like that. The third tip is to prioritize winning over stats. Are great players who put up big numbers on great teams? Yes. You look at any good NBA, any good WNBA team, any good college team, they're likely going to have the best players or like the greatest players at that level who are putting up a lot of numbers. The finals are going on right now with the Raptors and the Warriors, and of course Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard. Those guys are going to put up big numbers. But in my opinion, and from what I understand of those guys, they don't prioritize their numbers over winning. Instead, they prioritize just doing whatever it takes to win the game. And I'm sure if you ask Steph Curry or any of these guys, hey, if you asked them, hey, you're going to score 3 points tonight, but your team is going to win, would you rather do that or score 50 points and lose? I guarantee you, or at least I would guess that they say, I'll score 3 points or 4 points, and I'd rather have the win. If you prioritize winning over your stats, that does not mean you're never going to put up big numbers. It doesn't mean you can't score 30 points in a game. It doesn't mean you can't have 15 rebounds. All it means is that you want to win more than you want to put up numbers. If sometimes, maybe most of the time, to win, you do need to put up a lot of numbers, rebounds, assists, points, whatever it is. But don't just focus on stats. Prioritize winning over your stats. The fourth piece of advice, and this is 150%, especially for middle schoolers, 9th graders, or 10th graders. And because it's 11th and 12th graders are a little bit different, because in the summer, 11th and 12th graders need to be playing games. They need to be going to showcases. They need to be playing in tournaments so that they can get college coaches to evaluate them and recruit them. But for 10th, 9th, middle schoolers, and definitely younger, prioritize development over winning games, especially in the summer. You can win If you're in 7th grade, you can go 50-0 during the summer and not get better hardly at all. Instead, you could play 10 games in the summer, just go to 2 tournaments, and you could train 3, 4, 5 times a week during the summer. And training and focusing on your development over the long term is going to be way, way better for you than winning games in the summer as a 7th grader or 9th grader. Problem is, and I'm not saying every coach is like this, I'm not saying every parent is like this. There's a certain percentage that are like this, there's a certain percentage that are not like this, but there's a lot of coaches where they get their ego and pride into it, and all they care about is winning summer basketball games or AAU tournaments or travel tournaments or whatever. They should be competitive, and of course, every time you hit the floor, you want to win, but they prioritize that and sacrifice development and getting players better at their shot, their ball handling, reading certain situations, their footwork, rebounding stance, rebounding position, whatever it is. Some of these coaches, they just care about winning basketball games and they don't care about players' development. Now, on the other hand, there are plenty of summer travel, AAU, EYBL coaches who really deeply care about players' development, who really deeply want to help players develop over a long period of time to help them play in college. Those are the teams and those are the coaches who are doing it right. So this summer, even if you're in 11th and 12th grade, you should still put a lot of emphasis on development, but especially the other grades, 10th, 9th, and below. Put a huge, huge, huge emphasis on development, training, practice, and getting better, and a less of an emphasis on just winning summer games. The 5th tip is to prioritize how well you play over how good you think you look. If your mindset going into a game is, oh, should I wear my orange sleeve or my white sleeve? Or should I go 2 calf sleeves or 1 calf sleeve? Or should I go wristband and then should I go shooting sleeve and headband? Or should I do blue shoe, white shoe, red sock, green sock? Now, those things are not wrong. They're not bad. I wore a shooting sleeve, I wore a headband, whatever, wristband, I've worn it all. I've worn high socks, low socks. I've done that too. So it's not bad, but it gets bad when you only think about how good you look. If you think about how good you look for 20 minutes before a game or what you're going to wear in a game before a game, and you spend 20 minutes thinking about that, and you don't spend 1 second on thinking about how you want to play, your priorities are out of line. On the other hand, if you're like, you know what, yeah, these socks are fine, I'm going to wear a shooting sleeve, whatever, think about it for 10 seconds, and then you think for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, or you talk with your coach about how do I need to play this game? How can I play well? How can I get better from last game? You need to spend a lot more time thinking about and talking about with your coach or your teammates, looking at how good you play, what you can improve at. Spend way more time on those things than a sock or a shooting sleeve or headband. If you do, you're setting yourself up for success. Number 6, and this is the final tip, is to value and prioritize critical voices in your life. Here's what I mean. We all have people who kiss our butts. Yeah, you did perfect. Yeah, you don't make any mistakes. Oh, you're going to be great, honey. You're going to be great. Oh, well, I've seen you since you were little, and you're going to be a superstar. Oh, it's okay you don't work hard. You're just gifted. And then we have critical voices who say, hey, I love you, but you're being lazy. Or, hey, I love you, I want to see you at your best, but you're playing terrible and your attitude sucks. You need to fix it. You need to do this, 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 and this to get better. Yes, I know you had 25 points, but your rebounding was awful, your defense was awful. A college coach is not going to ever recruit you because of those things, and you have to get better at those things if you want to improve. Please don't just listen to those voices who tell you how great you are. Listen to those voices or those people in your life who know when to tell you, you played great. You had great effort. You were incredible out there. Your rebounding, your scoring, your passing was amazing. Those voices who can also say the positives and the negatives or the maybe painful things of like, hey, you're not as good as you think you are. Let me help you. Or number 6, this tip is to value critical, honest, truthful voices, people in your life, over the ones who just praise you how great you are. One of the tragedies of basketball is seeing a very talented middle school player or a very talented high school player who thinks that because they had a great 9th grade year on varsity, or who thinks because they're playing on the elite travel ball circuit in 10th grade that they think they've made it, that they think they don't have to work, that they hear all these voices in their life who just say, oh, you're going to be amazing. Oh yeah, you're okay. You're going to be great. Even if they're not working hard, even if they're not a good teammate, even if they don't have a good attitude, even if their character is very questionable. The tragedy is seeing those kind of kids with so much talent and so much potential be surrounded by terrible, terrible opinions and dishonest voices in their life. And those voices really don't push the player to reach their maximum potential. On the other hand, the best scenarios, and there's so many amazing parents, so many amazing coaches who do this, who have very talented players, who have very gifted guards, who have very, very talented post players or whatever position they are. And they're those coaches or parents or adults who say, you're gifted and you're talented, but listen, you got to keep working. Don't be satisfied. Just because you had a great 9th grade year, that doesn't mean you're going to have a great 10th grade year. Or just because you got looks from Division I schools in 10th grade, that doesn't mean you're going to be a great Division I player or an NBA player. You've got to continue to work. You've got to continue to have good character, and you've got to continue to surround yourself with good people. The best people in your life are those who love you enough to tell you the truth. And the good news is when you have truthful and honest people in your life, when they give you a compliment, you can know it's real. Because I've got people in my life, they'll call me out when I'm doing something bad, and then when they compliment me or say I'm doing something well, I can trust them because they'll call it either way. On the other hand, you can't really trust people who just tell you how great you are and you never do anything wrong. And here's why you can't trust them. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, we all do things wrong, and those people who avoid those things and don't look at them and don't bring them up, they're lying because it's not truth. We need people to be critical of us. We need people to hold us accountable, and we need people in our lives who will tell us truth that might hurt. These were 6 tips for basketball players, middle school or high school or whatever age, who want to play college basketball. If you want to learn more about how you can make it to play college basketball, let me suggest my book that I just wrote. It's called Recruited in Basketball, the go-to guide on earning and choosing the best college basketball scholarship. You can check it out at my website, CoachMasonWaters.com. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening. I hope it was helpful. If you did find it helpful, please let me know. I love just hearing when I make a video and people are like, that was good. Please let me know if you liked it. Just leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Thank you for watching, and look forward to more videos soon.